What is going on, beautiful people of the world? My name is Garrett Wolf, and I am the host of the #1 podcast for people who are trying to go from saggy flabs to six-pack abs. I've built my body over the last 8 years, and in the last 3 years, I've helped hundreds of online clients shred unwanted fat and embody the best version of themselves. Now, let's jump right into today's show. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Alpha Movement Podcast. This is the #1 show for people who are trying to go from saggy flabs to six-pack abs, all without giving up the most enjoyable aspects of their life. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about, is it healthy to sustain a 1,000 calorie deficit? All right, so if at any point during this episode you enjoy what I have to say or you take some value from this podcast, please screenshot my face, share it to your Instagram stories, tag me at _Garrett Wolf, and I will reshare it to my story and send you a free gift. Other than that, guys, if it looks like I just rolled out of bed, it's because that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what I did. We got a nice little rainy day here, and on rainy days, I like to sleep in a little bit, and here's why. #1, I actually enjoy listening. This is kind of weird, something you guys didn't know about me. I enjoy listening to the rain as I sleep. I think it helps like my dreams or some shit. Like it makes me have better, more vivid dreams. That's the #1 reason. The #2 reason is because my morning routine consists of something like this. I wake up, go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, right? Maybe wash my face. Sometimes I don't do that. Sometimes I do. Then I'll drink like a shit ton of water, like 24 fluid ounces of water, like half my gallon jug back there. I'll drink that, half of that. And then I'll try to write down 3 gratitudes, 3 affirmations. Sometimes I forget about that part because I'm really like brain foggy in the morning sometimes. But all that takes like, to say 5-10 minutes. And then I'll go outside right away. And this is my prep morning routine. This is not a typical morning routine. This is a prep morning routine. I'll go outside and I'll get like 5 to 7,000 steps, depending on if like how much energy I have, depending on the route that I decide to take for the walk. And obviously when it's pouring rain outside, I can't go out there. I mean, I could in like a raincoat, but I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to go out there and get wet. I can make up for the steps later. And all things considered, I would rather just lay in my bed and listen to the rain and kind of just, take a little napski, get a little nice needed rest. I went to bed at like 9:45 last night, and it is now 10:30, and I woke up like 10 minutes ago. So I slept for like 11 hours, which is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. That is way too much. Usually I would not do something like that, but we've been making a lot of prog into life, and I'm like, you got to give yourself a little bit of compassion every now and again. Usually I'm not all about that compassion stuff, but sometimes you do. So, a little bit of rain, a little bit of snoozing. I did have some crazy dreams. I would tell you guys about them, but frankly, I can't remember all of it, and I can only remember certain segments. But it is crazy. I would doing a podcast on some of my dreams, dude. Because the thing is like, as you guys know, I used to like smoke a lot of weed, right? And when you do that, you lose your dreams. You really do. You lose your dreams. You don't have any dreams. You just kind of sleep. You wake up, and then coming off of it, like for this prep and over the past few months, I've been dialing it down a lot, and now I'm not even really on it at all anymore. You get your dreams back. You have like some crazy ass dreams, and it's like living like 2 lives, right? I don't know if you guys dream or if you don't dream, but if you're someone that takes heavy sedatives, like you drink alcohol before bed, or you're smoking weed before bed, that's how you end up not dreaming. And so if you want to have those dreams, man, you got to get that good juicy REM sleep. You got to have a sleep schedule, #1. You got to not take those sedatives, and you got to kind of think about what you want to dream about before you fall asleep. And then you should be able to have a nice crazy like little dream. They're super symbolic, like all of them. I love digesting them and trying to figure out what they mean. But that's why I'm up right now. That's why I look like this, because I literally rolled out of bed. That's why I have no shirt on. And am I going to put a shirt on? Absolutely not, because this is my fucking podcast and I can do whatever the hell I want. I would like to put the camera down a little bit though, so that maybe it's a little bit of a better angle for you guys. There we go. Is that better? Is that better, or is that a whole lot worse? Hold on, let me fix this. All right, there we go. The angle is now it's still a little bit off. You know what? We move. We move with what we got. There we go. That's perfect. That's like exactly what it was before. I'll just move a little bit closer. How about that? Boom. In any case, guys, what we're talking about on today's podcast episode is it healthy to sustain a 1,000 calorie deficit? Right? Because if you guys didn't know, but now my mic's speaking, got all these producer problems. I am the producer. All right, guys. In any case, I am in a 1,000 calorie deficit every single day for this contest prep leading up to my show. And in fact, we're going deeper and deeper past a 1,000 deficit. It could be because my steps are going. The strategy is, since I'm eating already like 2,000 calories a day, and I've reported to my coach that I'm still pretty hungry throughout the day, instead of lowering my calories, all we're doing is increasing the steps by about 1,000 each week. So I'm 4 weeks out, and right now I'm currently doing 12,000 steps per day. So it's going to go up to about 16, maybe 17, maybe even 20,000, depending on my body fat levels, depending on how I'm responding, because taking away any more food is just not really going to work for me. I'm like, I mean, I could do it, right? I could do it, but I would lose out on nutrients. I would get hungrier. I would be angrier. I'd be a lot hangrier. I'd be a lot more moody. That's just not really a good, healthy way to go about prep. That being said, is it healthy to sustain a 1,000 calorie deficit? It can be, right? It can be. You can minimize the damage. How can you minimize the damage? Number one, by moving more throughout your life, getting 10,000 steps so that you can actually eat more food every single day. Because the problem, the way it gets unhealthy generally, this is the first way it gets unhealthy. There's probably 2 or 3 ways that it is going to get unhealthy for you. The first way is if you're only eating like 1,200 calories or 1,500 calories. I'm eating 2,000, right? So if you eat 1,100, 1,200, 1,400 calories like some of these people do, you're not getting adequate micronutrients. That's the problem, because micronutrients lie within the foods that you eat. And so if you're not eating enough food, then you're going to become micronutrient deficient, right? And that's one thing that can start messing up your hormones, start messing up your mood. It can start messing up with all kinds of bodily normal functions that you need to live throughout your day-to-day life. So that's the first thing. You need to be able to move throughout the day. You need to get 10,000 steps or more. Like, I'm doing 12,000. Some days I do 15,000. Other days I do 16,000. Yesterday I did 16. So you need to be able to move so that you can get more micronutrients in your body. Number two, the second reason it can become unhealthy is if you're doing it for a crazy long period of time. So what is a long period of time? I've been cutting for about 6 months here. Mind you, I may not have been in a 1,000 calorie deficit the entire 6 months, but I definitely have been for the past four, because honestly, it could be even more than that. Now that I'm thinking about it, I started, yeah. So honestly, it could have been 4 or 5, maybe even the full 6 months that I've been in a 1,000 calorie deficit. Because before my prep, I was already cutting myself. Mind you, I wasn't, exactly dialed on what it was that I was in, like the amount of deficit that I was in. I wasn't exactly for sure, but I was shredding body fat. That was kind of my measurement of progress over there. So the longer you do it, the more unhealthy it can get. And I will tell you that I am feeling a little bit of those unhealthy side effects that start to come along with the length of the diet plan that is going on here, which can be, your mood gets out of whack, your cortisol goes through the roof, which is the stress hormone, makes you pissed off all the time. Your ghrelin goes through the roof, which is the hunger hormone that secretes in your stomach, letting your brain know that you're hungry, which I secrete that shit basically all day long, 24/7. I'm like always hungry. That's one kind of weird side effect I've been experiencing on this prep. And then you're kind of just, your testosterone goes down, it plummets, and that's just due to low body fat levels. That's not really due to lack of nutrients, but it is due to, being in a cut for a long period of time. Your hormones, they get all out of whack. Your testosterone plummets, and some of the side effects you might feel with that are lack of motivation, lack of desire, lack of, wanting to attack life, lack of the ferocity. Like, one of the things I've really been experiencing is usually in the gym, like, I want to smash that shit. I want to go in the gym and crush it, push the pillar, like really get at it. That's how I've always been. But now on prep, 4 weeks out, I just want, when I get in the gym, I just want to get the fuck out, man. I would rather not go to the gym at all right now. I cannot stand the gym because I have no energy. I'm getting it's so fucking weak. It's unreal. Like, I'm fucking pretty, like, I'm so weak, dude. I was gonna say I'm pretty much just as weak as I was when I started, but that's not true. I'm not that weak. I'm still probably stronger than all of you guys watching this. Let's be honest. I mean, frankly, but still. I'm fucking weak in comparison. Like, just for example, I was able to bum out 225 for 4 sets of 10 on bench right before this prep. Now I'm doing like 155 for sets of 10, dude. And it's like I couldn't really do anymore. And I'm like, holy fuck, dude. I'm gonna have to regain all this muscle back after I get off this prep. And I'm gonna have to go through all that again just to get back to where I was, which is fine. We're reaching new heights because I've never been this shredded, right? Actually, as of this morning, I was 153.6 pounds, 9.5% body fat on my scale. And so, I mean, the shreds are gonna get insane. I've never seen the 8% on my body fat scale, and I'm excited to be able to see that because we got 4 weeks. I'm gonna be able to lose probably 6 more pounds. I'm gonna be like 148 pounds, maybe even less, depending on how deep we decide to go. I'm already getting the feathered back. I'm telling you guys about my shreds now. I'm already getting the feathered back. It's like my tricep is already feathered. Um, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. And mind you, that's not healthy. That's one of the unhealthy side effects of dieting this long. Is, man, you're gonna start looking like a feather. That's great, but that's pretty much anorexia, right? When you think about it, even though you have like a lot of muscle, you're pretty much looking anorexic. That's the difference, though. Is someone who's anorexic has no muscle and no fat, but bodybuilding extremists, like when you have to bodybuild, diet down for a show, you're going to have a decent amount of muscle, just no fat, right? And there are some consequences that come with no fat. But I know some people get that mixed up. They're like, oh, you look anorexic. You look super skinny. It's like, no, motherfucker. I'm shredded. I have a lot of muscle. I'm not, what is it called? Like malnutritious. I'm not fucking starving. I have fuel for my body, right? There's a huge difference. Huge difference, right? And then the third way, right? I said there was about three ways that dieting for a long period of time can become unhealthy. So the third way, the first one is you're not moving enough. The second one is your hormones get out of whack. The third one is I just had it. What is it? What is it? What is it? Oh, yes, yes, yes. The third one is you can start to develop eating disorders, right? And you can, and not just eating, but disorders in general. Sorry, I'm a little bit slow. As I said, I just rolled out of bed 10 minutes ago. But you can start to develop disorders I don't like to talk about this at all, realistically, because I don't like labeling yourself with things. But you can start to develop these sort of mental disorders and these kind of dysfunctions where, even though I'm shredded as fuck, right, and I look better than like 100% of the average population, I'm looking at what's wrong with my body, right? I'm looking at where there's extra fat instead of looking at what's good about it. I'm looking at where it might look worse than it should, where there should be less body fat, where it should be more shredded. So that's like a visual kind of disorder. You're not really seeing the real you, which is kind of crazy. I'm not exactly sure what the name for that is. But then also you can start to develop eating disorders, right? Where it's like, maybe a month after my show, I'll look at my body and I'll be like, damn, I wish I was as shredded as I was on my show. And then I'll start eating less and less and less, right? Or you can even mess up your ghrelin system to where you're going to be less and less hungry after the show. And so you're going to be eating less and less. You're always going to be thinking about your show weight. You're always going to be thinking about how shredded you were at your show. You're always going to want to get back to that unhealthy place of where you were, when you were competing at this show or when you were dieting down this low to this low percentage of body fat. And so those are the three ways that it can become unhealthy. That being said, you can do it healthily as long as you don't do it for forever, as long as you don't fall victim to these things forever, as long as you're keeping your steps up, as long as you're making sure your mind is strong, you understand that these disorders are present, and you go at it with that in mind so that you don't fall victim. Like, for example, I knew that that was going to be the case. So when I look in the mirror, I look at what needs work, but then I also look at what is looking insane, like my feathered back, like my feathered triceps. Those are looking insane. What could use some work for the show is this lower belly kind of pelvis midsection fat. That's basically the only place on my body that I'm still holding fat. And so that could use some work, right? Because all the fat has to go for the show. You basically want to step on stage with almost no body fat whatsoever. But that being said, I understood this challenge going into the prep. And so I understand that when I look at that kind of thing, I need to remind myself that I look fucking insane and I look better than almost 100% of the population. And I'll probably not be able to get back down to this body fat percentage if I don't do another show, if I don't compete again. And that in mind, like, I'm okay with that. I'm completely okay with that. That makes perfect sense to me. And it's going to be fine, it's going to be great. And one of the things that comes with this is a strength loss, and I'm not really okay with that. So at the end of the day, you have to pick and choose. You can't have them both unless you decide to take gear. And so the way you can do it healthily, guys, is just understand that these disorders can come in place. Understand you're going to have to move a lot more so that you don't become micronutrient deficient, and understand that you shouldn't do it for an entire year. You shouldn't be cutting for a year. You shouldn't be cutting for more than, honestly, 6 months. This is what I can see is like the healthy range for me, but it's going to be different for every person. It could be 3 months for you. It could be 9 months for you. There could be some people watching, some outliers that could do it for a year in a healthy manner. It all depends on you. It depends on your body. So it depends on your hormone levels. So get them checked out with a doctor. I didn't. You can if you want to. Make sure that everything you're doing is healthy. Again, I didn't. You can if you want to. Make sure that you're okay and make sure that you're not destroying your body. And other than that, you can definitely do it in a healthy manner. I mean, all these comments on TikTok when I talk about my prep, they're like, 1,000 deficit? Like, that's not healthy. It's like these blanket statements, like, that's not healthy. Like, shut the
You don't know anything, bro. You've never dieted this low in your life. You don't even know what health is. You're probably sitting at home eating Pop-Tarts and fucking wheat thins, fucking mini wheat thins for breakfast, fucking frosted mini wheats, you fucking loser. Straight up. Fucking L for loser. Fucking, and then I go to their profile and they're a Fortnite kid. Fuck that, man. Anyway, that is all, guys. That's it. That's all. Literally, it these blanket statements like, is it healthy, is it unhealthy, it depends on how you do it. Those are the three main ways that I could think of that would make it unhealthy. And so, it all depends on you. It all depends on how you execute it, and that, at the end of the day, is how everything works in life. It's all about execution. It's not really these blanket statements of this or that. It's all about you. It's all about how you do it. It's all about how you get it done. And that brings us to the end of today's podcast. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this shit. I hope you took some value from this podcast, and if you did, screenshot my face, share it to your Instagram stories, tag me at _Garrett Wolf, and I will reshare it to my story and send you a free gift. Other than that, guys, it has been your boy Garrett Wolf, and I will see you all in the next podcast episode. Peace, guys.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. Hopefully you got some value. If you did get value and you want to learn a little bit more about how you can go from saggy flabs to six-pack abs, just head over to my Instagram at _Garrett Wolf, DM me the word six-pack, and I'll reach out to you and see if I can help. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and I will see you all in the next podcast episode. Peace.